I'm still thinking about this idea of the transparent society, which is this set of ideas coming out of this book by David Brin, in which it's a society which is, because of kind of omnipresent surveillance and shared access to the outputs of that surveillance technology, it's a society which is transparent to itself. So it's a bit like everybody's got a compulsory YouTube channel, or as many channels as they want, and everybody's online all the time, and all the information is available. But crucially, all the sites of power and control are also constantly under surveillance. So there's cameras in every governmental office, in every corporation boardroom, in every interrogation room, in every police cell, in every point in the power hierarchy is surveilled, and everyone is watching everybody else, or can watch everybody else if they choose to. That's the idea of it, and David Brin spins out some of the implications of that, and I quite like the idea of that. Obviously it's just an Orwellian nightmare waiting to happen in some ways, but I quite like the idea of it, at least to think about, because for me at least it offers the beginnings of an opportunity for something some kind of interpersonal intelligence to take place, because at the moment the most intelligent thing around is an individual human being, I guess we are quite intelligent, but we're also constrained because of our embodiment, because of the frailty of that embodiment, because of the history of that embodiment. All of that kind of stuff limits, how we might use that intelligence, really. And so the more we can disperse it and place it in an interpersonal space, the better. And in a sense it already is. The history of literature and the history of knowledge and libraries and archives and all that kind of stuff is something about that. Is the space in between us all where interpersonal knowledge sits. And the better the tools are for interrogating that knowledge and constructing something out of it intelligent, the better the databases are, the better the search tools are, all that kind of, the better the compilers and collators of that knowledge are, the more intelligence can exist interpersonally, and I'm all for that. But as I say, it's still only got so far, and it's still the smartest thing around is a person. Okay, so that's my argument for the transparent society. Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, I guess one of the factors that will hold us back from embracing the transparent society is fear, really. It's really windy. I'll just get past this gap in the hedge and see if the wind drops through this side. Hold on. Okay. I guess one of the things that holds us back from embracing the transparent society and allowing ourselves to become more porous is fear, and it's quite justifiable. Obviously, if I render my bank and credit card details transparent, that does put me in something of an economically vulnerable position. And even if I just release my name and address online, that kind of stuff, I would feel a bit dodgy about that, because it could potentially put me in a physically vulnerable position, even though I know it's perfectly easy to find out who I am and where I live. So there's lots of good reasons, I think, why we resist transparency, quite apart from the kind of existential reasons of feeling emotionally and sentimentally attached to the boundaries of our own skin. There are, quite legitimate security reasons why we might. So I guess what I'm saying is that the success of the transparent society is going to be inversely proportional to the amount of security and safety we can put into that society. So the more a society becomes transparent, the safer it would have to become. You'd have to find ways to make sure people are safe. People's bodies are safe ultimately in that society. We'd have to find ways to wrap our bodies up, probably in layers of technology, like the aliens in Independence Day. They're just surrounded by these layers of technology which render them completely safe. We'd have to wrap ourselves in technology, miles thick probably. In a sense we already are. Some people watching this video, if anybody does watch this video, are probably 3,000 miles away at least. And so I have kind of wrapped myself in the technology which distances people and places them way beyond arm's length. So I think in a sense that process is already underway. But the more transparent we would allow our society to become, the more cocooned we'd have to force our individual bodies to be. I guess I'm imagining the ultimate version of that, or the ultimate extent of that, which of course is that film The Matrix, which is I just love this film so much actually. The Matrix, because of course the individual, apart from the fact it's all an illusion, the world they're living in, the individual members of that world are in an incredibly safe position. I mean, apart from the fact they get pulped and turned into slurry for feeding to other people at the end of it, the individual members are in an ultimate place of safety. You know, they're literally in cocoons with nutrients pumped into them. Nothing can get to them. You know, they can presumably die of old age at a certain point, at which point, as I say, they become slurry. But they are completely safe. It's the only problem they have. It's not the only problem, but one of the problems is that they have no control over that, and they have no knowledge of where they are. That's always baffled me a bit actually in the film The Matrix. You know, the moment when Neo goes and sees Morpheus, and Morpheus says, you know, here's the red pill, here's the blue pill, and we can't tell you about how the real world is, you have to experience it for yourself. I never quite understood that. I mean, why doesn't he just say, it feels like you're here, but actually your body's in a cocoon, in a farm, and I might be able to take it there, but I can certainly show you videos. And why doesn't he show you pictures of what it looks like? Why don't they hack into the Matrix and get people to come to realisation whilst they're in the cocoon, so they know where they are, and then they can make informed choices about whether they want to come out or not. Anyway, those are just kind of plot holes, but I can kind of imagine the logical extension of, you know, thousands or millions of people worldwide, as there are now, like myself, spending several hours a day hunched behind a keyboard, with their only contact to the outside world being the light that comes through their eyes, some little vibrations through their ears, and the feeling of those little raised bumps on the two central keys on the keyboard. I can easily imagine that extending backwards so that we are cocooned in some kind of benevolent matrix, where we know full well where we are, we're there by choice, it's completely optional, we're not, it doesn't connect us to an artificial world created by some Orwellian totalitarian machinic state that's controlling us. It connects us to one of those Gibsonian consensual hallucinations, but we wouldn't think of it as a hallucination, it would be a consensual reality we're all tapped into. I think that would be absolutely fine, actually. That would be nice, possibly. I suppose I'm just reminded also of the word matrix, because the word matrix, I think I'm right in saying, comes from the same source as the word for womb, or means womb, or something like that. So the film The Matrix, whilst it's about kind of being out there on the electric grid almost, it's also about being in a womb and being safe and protected and nourished by some grand being that you are kind of part of, because you're sharing nourishments and you're sharing the projected reality from that interpersonal, multi-bodied, infinitely distributed being inhabits. Transparent society, benevolent nature.